You met men who weren't the best looking in the room, weren't the tallest, didn't say the most, and yet something about them pulled your attention and kept it there. You couldn't explain it if someone asked you to, but you felt it. That's not charisma, that's not charm, that's not game, that's aura, and it is absolutely buildable. Here's the thing most men don't want to hear. Aura isn't something you perform. It's not a tactic you apply before a date or a mindset you switch on before walking into a room. You can't fake it, and the men who try, you can always tell. There's something slightly off, like watching an actor who's almost convincing. The reason most men feel invisible, despite going to the gym, despite the haircut, despite the clothes, is that they've been working on the surface while the signal underneath stays weak. They're upgrading the packaging but leaving the product untouched. Women feel this, men feel it too. It operates below conscious thought, before you open your mouth, before anyone gets close enough to read your watch or smell your cologne. It precedes you. It's the first thing people register and the last thing they consciously name. Here's what I want you to understand before we go any further. Everything you do daily, how you sleep, how you eat, how you train, how you handle stress, how you speak to yourself when no one is watching, all of it accumulates into something visible. That accumulation is your aura. And right now, for most men watching this, that accumulation is working against them. Let me give you the framework that makes everything else make sense. Aura is not mystical. It is not inherited. It is not something some men have and others don't by some cosmic accident of birth. Aura is an output. It is the sum of inputs, biological, psychological, and behavioral, made visible to every person you encounter. Think of it as a frequency. Your body broadcasts a signal at all times, through the tension in your jaw, the quality of your skin, the way you hold your shoulders, the steadiness of your gaze, the pace at which you move, the way you respond when someone challenges you. People read all of this simultaneously, unconsciously, in under 3 seconds. They arrive at a verdict before a single word is spoken. Now here's the reframe that changes everything. Most men try to manage the broadcast. They rehearse lines, they practice body language in the mirror, they try to project confidence they don't actually feel. And it doesn't work, because you cannot consistently broadcast a signal that isn't genuinely yours. The solution isn't to manage the broadcast, it is to upgrade the source. Fix what you're inputting into your system. Your sleep, your body composition, your cortisol levels, your self-narrative, your daily discipline, and the broadcast upgrades automatically. The aura shifts as a consequence, not as a performance, as an expression. That is the distinction almost no one makes. And it is the reason some men transform completely, while others plateau, despite doing all the visible things right. There are 5 pillars that build aura. Each one is specific, each one is actionable, and each one affects the signal you broadcast in ways you can measure, not in weeks, in days. I want you to think of these not as separate habits, but as one integrated system. Pull on any one of them and the others respond. Pillar 1, physical baseline. Your body is the most legible text you own. People read it before they read anything else about you. Body composition matters more than muscle size for aura. The man at 12% body fat broadcasts health, discipline, and self-governance. His face is sharper. His posture is naturally better because carrying less weight means less strain. His skin is clearer because lower inflammation means lower cortisol means better skin barrier function. These are not cosmetic benefits. They are biological signals of genetic fitness and personal discipline. 2 things human beings are hardwired to detect and respond to. Your training goal for the next 90 days is not a number on a scale. It is to be visibly leaner. 4 sessions per week. Compound movements. A caloric deficit if you're carrying fat. That's it. The face changes faster than you think. Pillar 2, sleep as a biological reset. This is the most underrated pillar because it's the least visible. Nobody posts about going to bed at 10. When you consistently sleep less than 7 hours, your cortisol rises. Elevated cortisol degrades collagen, the structural protein that keeps your skin firm and your face looking vital. It also suppresses testosterone. Studies show that 1 week of sleeping under 6 hours drops testosterone by up to 15%. That is the hormonal equivalent of aging a decade. Your eye area, the periorbital region, is the most stress-sensitive part of your face. Dark circles, puffiness, hollow under eyes. Every person you meet reads this before they read anything else on your face. It signals depletion. It signals that you are running on empty. and no amount of gym time or skincare offsets it. 7 to 8 hours. Room at 18 degrees. No screens after 10. Blackout curtains. This one change alters your baseline broadcast within 2 weeks in ways people will notice and not be able to explain. 1 week of under 6 hours of sleep drops testosterone by 15%. That's not a lifestyle inconvenience. That's a biological degradation of your signal. Pillar 3, emotional regulation, the invisible pillar. Here's where most men's aura breaks down completely, and it's the pillar nobody talks about because it requires confronting something uncomfortable. Reactivity destroys aura instantly. The man who visibly tenses when someone challenges him, who checks his phone every 4 minutes on a date, who needs the conversation to go a certain way, or his energy shifts, who seeks approval in small, invisible ways, laughing slightly too hard, agreeing too quickly, changing his opinion based on the room. These are signals, and they are all broadcasting the same thing. I'm not secure in myself. The highest aura men you've encountered share one quality above everything else. They are not moved by things that move other men. Not because they're cold, not because they don't feel, but because they have an internal reference point that doesn't require external validation to remain stable. This is what the Stoics were actually building when they practiced voluntary discomfort. Cold exposure, fasting, silence, not performance, not Instagram content. Internal calibration, the deliberate training of a nervous system that doesn't spike at provocation. The practice, when something creates a reactive impulse, a challenge, a slight, an uncomfortable situation. Introduce a gap. Breathe before responding, not a therapeutic breath. A gap of genuine non-reaction that says, this does not require me to perform anything. That gap, practiced daily, compounds into the kind of presence that makes people feel your stillness before you speak. Pillar 4, the way you occupy space posture is not just physical, it is a statement. Forward head posture, which affects the majority of men who spend time at screens, compresses your silhouette, reduces perceived height, and activates the body's stress response because the position itself signals threat mode to the nervous system. You are broadcasting submission through your skeleton without knowing it. The correction, dead hangs daily, wall angels, face pulls, and the single most effective posture reset. Imagine a thread pulling the crown of your skull directly upward, not your chin, the crown. That one cue, sustained for 30 seconds, will shift your entire silhouette. But posture extends beyond the spine. It's in how slowly you move. High aura men move at a consistent pace regardless of the social pressure in the room. They don't speed up when flustered. They don't slow down to perform. They move at their own speed. That is a status signal older than language. Pillar 5, what you feed your mind. The last pillar is the one with the longest lag, and the one that ultimately determines your ceiling. What you consume daily shapes your self-narrative, and your self-narrative is broadcast in every interaction you have. Men who spend hours consuming low-quality social media, comparison content, outrage content, passive entertainment, arrive at their interactions depleted and slightly destabilized. They are running a program that doesn't serve them, and it shows. The men with the highest natural aura tend to share one habit. They are consistently engaged with something larger than their immediate social environment, a mission, a craft, a body of knowledge they are actively building. This is what gives a man's eyes that quality of looking outward rather than inward, of being engaged with the world rather than monitored by it. Read for 30 minutes daily. Build something. Have a project that exists outside of your social life. This is not productivity advice. This is aura advice. The man with the direction reads differently to every person he meets. They cannot name why, but they feel it. 90 days from now. The man who runs these 5 pillars consistently doesn't look like a different person. He is a different person. His face is leaner and his skin is clearer because his cortisol is lower and his sleep is longer. He moves with a steadiness that isn't practice because it isn't performance. It's the physical expression of a nervous system that isn't constantly seeking approval or fearing judgment. He holds eye contact not because he rehearsed it, but because he has nothing to hide and nothing to prove. People will notice something has shifted. They won't be able to articulate it. They'll say he seems more confident, seems more certain, seems like he knows something. What they're actually detecting is coherence, the alignment between what he says, what he does, how he carries himself, and what he believes about himself. When those 4 things point in the same direction, It produces a field effect, a presence, an aura. That is not mystical. That is the physics of a man who has done his work. If this reframe landed, if you're seeing the gap between the broadcast you're putting out and the source you're running it from, I want you to start with pillar 2. Tonight, not the gym, not a skincare routine. Sleep, 7 hours minimum. Room dark and cold. Screens off by 10. 2 weeks of that single change will shift your baseline in ways you'll feel before anyone else names them. Subscribe. The next video is on what women respond to before a single word is spoken. And I promise the answer isn't what this space usually tells you it is. Drop a comment. Which of the 5 pillars is your weakest right now? I read all of them.